Back with another episode of Local Roots. Hi, I'm Todd Studer. And as I am recording the show, getting some rainfall over my studio, so if you happen to hear a few drops and not really know what that sound is, for the most part, my mic does a pretty good job, but occasionally seems like there's bigger drops that hit the window. So you might hear a couple of clinks or something like that. But that is what's going on. Some much needed rain. And I was just thinking about it that, we're only a couple of days away from the 1 year anniversary already of the tornado that hit Minden and went on and did damage in Harlan. And a lot of folks had a lot of damage from that. In fact, there were houses that were out in the country, not in town, that were completely destroyed. So 1 year later, folks still rebuilding, still getting their lives put back together. I know one family that just finishing up, and I think they're planning on moving back in to their house this weekend. So, it's the resilience of Iowans. I'm always proud to be able to say I'm from Iowa. And that time we saw what it means to become a much wider community than just the small one that we live in. I remember when I talked with Mayor Kevin Zimmerman, it was he was saying that they were having to turn people away because people got there so fast to help that they weren't ready for them. So that's what it's like to live in our part of the world. So if you happen to have found this podcast and you don't live in Southwest Iowa, where this is actually geared for, and then who that we are trying to highlight with what it is that we're doing here, that's what it's like being here, that folks look out for each other. And couldn't be more proud to say that I live here. Coming up very shortly, a while back, just recently, rather, I had an opportunity to visit with Donna Dostal. She's the president and CEO of the Community Foundation for Western Iowa. And there was a very, very large grant that was given from the Charles E. Lakin Foundation. And the idea is to help with a lot of the housing situation going around the smaller communities in Southwest Iowa. And Donna is heading up that project and steering the money everywhere where it needs to go. And I had an opportunity to visit with her and get an update about where everything is at. And I thought, what a wonderful opportunity to bring that interview to you and that conversation to you. So that is coming up on today's show. If you need precision metal fabrication done right, well, look no further than Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs. From custom welding to large-scale manufacturing, they're going to bring your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. Could be industrial, commercial, or custom fabrication. They're going to get the job done on time and built to last. Find them online at foxcofab.com. If you have a leak or a clogged drain, or if you're planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing has you covered. With fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, they handle everything from small repairs to major installation. They're locally owned and trusted and take pride in doing the job right the first time, residential or commercial, big or small. When plumbing problems strike, call Waldstein Plumbing. Visit them online for a free estimate at waldsteinplumbing.com. Joining us now is Donna Dostal, president and CEO of the Community Foundation for Western Iowa. Whether I'm running into you out and about, Donna, or seeing you on a computer, it's always great to see you.
It's good to see you too, Todd. Thank you so much for having me on your amazing podcast.
You are just too kind. Thank you so much.
That's
For
what
that.
you should name it now.
In-
You should name it that. It should be Todd's Amazing Podcast now.
That's it. I agree. We can call it Todd's Amazing Podcast presented by Donna Dostal.
There you go. That sounds great. I like it.
You've been very, very busy with everything going on at the Community Foundation for Western Iowa. Of course, a lot of publicity around the giant donation that came from the Charles E. Lakin Foundation, and you're doing a wonderful job getting that money out to where into the communities that need it most. How has this process been for you? Are you all the way through it, or is it still going on?
Oh, it's really just at the front end of it. So the Charles Lee Lakin Foundation is making a gift over the next 5 years. It will take time for them to move those monies over from their assets to the Community Foundation. But really, what will take more time is kind of going through the process of identifying nonprofits in each community that's going to be receiving a grant, one of those endowment funds, and making sure that that nonprofit is ready to take all of the community input and really be the liaison or the representation from their community back to the community foundation so that they can either grant their money effectively or they can take out a loan towards their community and build affordable housing or workforce housing or whatever it is that they'd like to build. Right now, we are focusing on market rate housing because housing does create economic stability and generational wealth. And if we can create more market rate housing, that will attract folks to come into our community. That helps to also increase the tax base of those communities.
Is that what the Charles E. Lakin Foundation identified as the biggest need, and that's why they decided to go this route? Because I know that, all around Southwest Iowa, we'd seen a decrease in population, and it kind of sounded like they wanted to make sure that we were keeping homegrown talent at home and making it possible for young people to be able to stick around.
Not only stick around, but invite them back. That's the big thing. Because, Todd, you hit the nail on the head. We have seen a decrease in population steadily since the turn of the 20th century. And so, in our region, in the 6 counties in particular that the Charles Lakin Foundation, where they focus, we've seen a 17% decrease in population, where if you look across the river to eastern Nebraska, that same land mass area, that if you were to flip it over and say, okay, let's look at like Douglas County, Sarpy County, Cass, that area has seen a 380% increase. And so what we'd like to do is make sure that there are really great opportunities for folks to move back to Western Iowa, to look at Western Iowa as the solution for them to live, work, play, grow. And to be able to do that, we have to have great housing so that folks have a good place to live, regardless of where they fall on the economic spectrum. We know we need affordable housing in our communities, but what is really going to help build the tax base in some of our rural towns and rural communities is is market rate housing. That's really what's in demand. We're looking at not really good paying jobs at the regional hospitals, and also for those folks that can work from anywhere. Just like you, Todd, that you're doing your podcast online. I'm doing it in my living room right now, and it's pretty amazing to be able to work from anywhere. And there's lots of folks that can do that. And so, as we're seeing our talent grow up, they graduate from high school, they go to school in different places throughout the United States, or they go to school right at Iowa State or University of Iowa or Drake or wherever they end up going. We'd like to invite those folks back. We want to attract that talent back so that there's a really strong work pool, and with that work pool then attracts new industry, it attracts great paying jobs. And we have lots of good jobs, we just need to make sure we have the people in place to do it.
Yeah, you talked about housing. Obviously, is a huge issue all the way across the board. I mean, when you look at, whether just being Council Bluffs or any of the surrounding areas, the vacancy rate is incredibly low. There's
Very low.
just not that much available. So, to me, that would indicate that there is a desire because obviously there's not that much available. So if you make more houses available and more apartments or townhomes or whatever they might be, that people will come because they're already coming. They're taking up anything that comes up available.
That's exactly right. And even when we look right outside of Council Bluffs, when we're look or to our rural communities, as far as Atlantic and Red Oak, the same thing is true. Their vacancy rate is very low. The housing prices are up. And so we know that's a supply and demand issue. When the housing prices are keeping pace with the metro area, we need to make sure that there's a good supply of houses so that we can meet the demand, maybe keep those prices lower if we have a good supply, and then attract folks that really want to be there. We just had a meeting last week, too, about a week and a half ago, with folks from Des Moines that were looking at like the Association of Business and Industry, and some folks that are interested in bringing more lawyers to our rural communities. Not only are we short of healthcare professionals, we're also short of legal professionals. And we're short of lots of professional individuals to come and do financial planning and to do teach in our schools and to work in our hospitals. So we want to be able to have some place for them to live that really does meet their expectations. It's a place that their families can grow in, and and maybe even make safe and affordable options for our senior community so that they can move out of the houses that maybe could fit a bigger family. You know, what we know is kind of fun, and I love this statistic. What we know in the state of Iowa, in our towns that are 10,000 or less, the housing stock is owned by a single woman over the age of 65, and she lives in it. And so, what we'd like to be able to do is have mom move out of that big family house that she's very happy with, but maybe move into something that's a little bit more manageable, something that she can, really feel comfortable in, but then open up that larger house with 4 or 5 bedrooms maybe, and for a new family to move into. And so those are some of the things that we're looking at. Also, we're looking at renovating or providing funds for the cities to renovate homes, maybe take possession, renovate them, and then turn around and sell them. So those are all things that we're looking at as options for affordable or even market rate housing in our rural communities.
It's one thing to have something for everyone to be able to live in, but then at the same time, they have to have something to do while they're there.
That's
And
true.
you have an impact summit coming up that is in September that I think is designed to create some of these opportunities.
Right. Well, so the Women's Summit, the Impact for Women Summit, it really does talk about issues that are facing women and their families in our region. And what we know is true that the women in our family, in our communities, they're the ones that are actually the face of poverty. They're the ones that are struggling to make ends meet. They're the ones that really are looking for new opportunities in their lives to make their lives better. And so we started the Women's Fund back in 2019 to address those issues, the issues that are facing women and families. And we focus on 4 key areas. One is access to affordable quality childcare. And so when you talk about making sure that there are the resources necessary for families to move into communities, childcare is the number one thing. How, well, first you got to find a house. You can't move in unless you have a house. Then you have to have a place. If you're going to have a family, you want to be comfortable that there's affordable quality childcare in the town that you're living in, so you don't have to look outside of that town. What we know is that when the more folks have to look outside of their town for resources, whether it's childcare, education, healthcare, a job, all of those things, when they look outside of that town, their chances of leaving that town increase every time they look, right? So we don't want people to leave our rural communities. We want them to really come to our rural communities. And the Women's Fund absolutely helps to fund those things. We're a receptacle. We don't provide childcare. We're a receptacle for money and granting to be able to build those things and provide money for those things in those communities. So, access to affordable, quality childcare is one thing we grant for. We also grant for aging in place and in community. So, if there's issues around housing, like we talked about mom, making sure she has a safe and affordable place to live in, we grant for those things as well. Women's safety and well-being, and that really is focused on granting money for programs that mitigate abuse, human trafficking, sexual assault, especially in our rural communities where a lot of times those things can run under the radar. And then finally, education for women of all ages. So focusing on STEM and STEAM programming that keeps women in those educational opportunities, because there's lots of opportunities for better paying jobs when you're looking at anything that's in that engineering field, mathematics, technology fields. Those are really great high paying jobs that have a lot of openings right now. And so if we can provide education opportunities on all of those things, the money that can support that, that's where we help lift women out of poverty. So the Impact Summit that you mentioned is in September. It's September 25th at the Mid-America Center. We have it every other year because it's usually a pretty big event. And last time we had it, which was in 2023, we had over 450 women and men as well. There were a few men there that came and learned from speakers that their expertise was in those 4 key areas. This year, we have an amazing keynote speaker that's coming. Her name is Marlee Matlin. She's an Academy Award winning actress and author. And she's going to talk about her experiences with abuse and with overcoming obstacles that sometimes can hinder success. And if you're familiar with Marlee Matlin, she's a very dynamic actress. She has a couple of different books, but her newest book is on her relationship with William Hurt and what happened after she received her latest Oscar. So it's very exciting to have her coming, and she's just one of many speakers of the day, as well as several activities that we'll have going on. We're going to have a really solid vendor fair, not so much vendors, but like an exhibition space where folks that we've granted money to will be able to present who they are and what they've done. Also, all of our sponsors are invited to come and just talk about their work in that vendor space as well. So it's going to be a great day. Starts at like 8. I think this time we start at 9 a.m. and we're going to 3 p.m. and we'll have a series of speakers and all wrapping up the day with Marlee Matlin.
I can think of about 100 different questions in there to be able to ask you, but we just don't have time for all of that. So I'll leave it at: is this a ticketed event? I mean, how do people?
It is.
And are they already available, or is it something that's still coming up?
Tickets are available on May 1st, but if you work for an organization that would like to be involved in this, and we have lots of folks that want to be involved and want to be part of this, I mean, we anticipate about 600 women being there this year. And so please do visit our givewesterniiowa.org website, and there's all the information that you need about how to be a sponsor and start getting involved.
I also, before we let you go, want to talk about, because as this is being released, we've reached April, and
Yes.
Do Good Days through Share Iowa going on. And this is, I think it's important to recognize those that are making a difference in our communities. And that's what this is all about.
So, volunteerism is what we focus on during Do Good Days. Find an organization where you just want to do some good and go hang out with them and do some things that really help further their mission. So, anything that a volunteer does at an organization can help actually relieve their operational costs. The value of a volunteer hour right now is over $30 an hour. So that's money right back into that nonprofit's pocket. So if you don't even have money to write a check and donate to an organization, go and volunteer because it's good as gold to them. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to honor those volunteers that are really doing the good work. And so right now on Share Iowa and on Give Western Iowa, our two websites, you can nominate a volunteer. So if you're watching this and you are a volunteer, nominate yourself. But if you are on a board of directors or you work for a nonprofit in the area and you would like to volunteer a very valuable or nominate a very valuable volunteer, a board member, your board chair, somebody like that, we will come and honor them as the do-gooder of the year. And so this is our third annual do-gooder of the year award. We've also honored folks that volunteered at New Visions as well as Share My Smile in the past. So it could be your nonprofit where we come and bring balloons and cookies and all the things and honor that special volunteer.
All of that information available on your website?
It is. And Do Good Days is April 23rd through 26th. So get those nominations now into our website, and then we'll be announcing the winners during Do Good Week.
Well, Donna, I am, as I said at the beginning of this, always thankful when you take some time, and I could sit for hours and talk with you. And unfortunately, I don't think either one of us have time to do that.
We
But
don't, but I could talk with you for hours as well, obviously. So I'm just honored to thank you so much for inviting me to come on today, Todd.
I spent a large part of my day yesterday talking to folks, lining up interviews, getting guests ready to be on the Local Roots show. And we've got a lot of folks that we're going to be talking to very, very soon. If you know of someone that's got a great story to tell and think it would be a good feature to have here on Local Roots, send me an email at toddstuder@gmail.com. I'm going to be getting in touch with more of the community officials, elected officials, those types of folks, and having them on to give us updates about what's going on in the communities and this close to home and a little bit farther down the road. You know, next week, I'm going to be talking with someone about the Corning Opera House down in Adams County. And it's a cool place, and I'm looking forward to that. We're also going to be talking about Art Church in Malvern. Lots of great interviews going to be coming up in the upcoming weeks, and I'm looking forward to that. Castle and Associates of American Family Insurance is your local insurance provider for all of your home, auto, life, business, and farm insurance needs. 4 convenient locations. They're in Trainer, they're in Council Bluffs, and across the river in Bellevue and in Elkhorn. They are local and in your neighborhood, ready to help you navigate the complexities of insurance today. Travis and his team educate, advise, and simplify insurance, and you know how valuable that is. So give them a call for your free quote. And do you or does someone you love need in-home care? Home Care Advocacy Network helps you maintain your own privacy in your own space while still receiving care and support with the personalized touch. And aging in place can be critical for many people, and Home Care Advocacy Network can meet those needs with an understanding that assisted living is best at home. HCAN of Southwest Iowa brings the personal touch to care at home in Council Bluffs, Glenwood, Red Oak, Clarinda, and surrounding communities. Visit hcan.com/Southwest Iowa to learn more. We've made it all the way to Thursday, and I am looking forward to a very busy day today and getting ready for a weekend. Things are going to be wet for a little while, but we need the rain. So we'll just get your umbrella out, put on a jacket. We'll all just brave it together, right? All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me here on the Local Roots Show. And thank you for the positive comments that we've had all this week. It's been wonderful. And I'm looking forward to continuing to watch this show grow and tell more and more stories from the smaller communities around Southwest Iowa. My name is Todd Studer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning